Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Alright, so this lesson is going to be about the treatment of, our people and how we are going to be basically shifting power. Power is going to go from one people to the next, and I thought of that when I saw this photo. It's in South Africa. You see the maid who's on her knees working for the Edomite, and she's sitting in the chair with her child, and it's just a form of superior and inferior. That's basically how you take a photo. Personally, if you didn't want something to be viewed as such, you wouldn't have took this photo. But they took the photo because that's how they wanted it to look. And now let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the lady on her knees wanted to take the photo, and she said, it's like some type of thing that they do. Fuck all that. You just wouldn't want to take this photo. At the end of the day, because you know how I look. But shit, to me, it just looked like a woman who's tired as hell and tired of working for these devils, and she just ready to go home. But you are the maid here in these devils' kingdom. All right, and that's like an example of our people. Our people are here to serve the Lord's whooping stick that He created, which is Esau, Edom, and not just them, but the other nations also. All right, who had a hand in our captivity. All right, because we went through the Islamic slave trade, the Arab slave trade. All right, we've been in captivity in Rome and in different other regions. Everybody's had a hand. Well, the Greeks, all right, the Ishmaelites, all these other nations have had a hand in putting us in captivity. All right, so you see this little girl who is exhausted in Alabama, and you got to be tired to fall asleep in that heat. This girl is no shoes, out there in a blue jean outfit in the heat, just took a nap on a pile of cotton that she just picked. And she just exhausted. All right. Our people have been put through so much captivity, that, our people have this Stockholm syndrome, man. They just don't know how to act. They don't know what it's like to be a part of a ruling class society that's ran correctly. So they just kind of connect with, what their flesh is soothed by. And that's all Esau wants. He want to give you what your flesh desires. All right? That's why people move to America for these rights, especially women. Because now they can be as loose as they want to be. In those other countries, they got them clamped up. You can't even speak at a certain tone in Dubai. Everybody want to run to Dubai, but if you a woman, you raise your voice at a man, you're going to jail. And guess what? A black woman from America did that, got her ass thrown in jail. I don't even know if she got out, but I know she got thrown in jail for raising her voice to a man out there. You can't do that. But here, shit, you can fight a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Call 911 on them, get them arrested and shit, get them a charge. That's how my cousin went to jail over this nonsense, man. So here, you know, you do whatever you want, all right? Because that's just how they set it up. So we don't know what a true ruling class looks like, all right? Because our nation ain't fit to rule right now. But in the future, definitely, all right? Because it'll be ruled in righteousness. It'll be grounded in the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You won't have to see your sisters, the sisters of Zion, in bondage, suffering. You won't have to see nothing like this no more. You won't have to see stuff like this no more. You know, whether this woman is a Hamite or not, is still symbolic of a melanated woman who's on her knees basically scrubbing floors and doing dirty work for these Edomites, man, just to make ends meet. Those days are coming to an end. All right? They're coming to an end. Psalms 2:8. And it says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. All right? Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. All right? So the Lord has given us, the heathens, for an inheritance. But right now, they're the ones that are in the driver's seat, all right, in ruling company right now, because it's prophecy. And prophecy will be fulfilled that they will be overthrown and taken out of power and put in chains. All right. As a matter of fact, yeah, let's get that now. Revelations 13:10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So who led us into captivity? These other nations. All right? These other nations have led us into captivity. So he that leadeth into captivity is going to go into captivity. Y'all led us into captivity. So you're all going into captivity. You touched the apple of the Lord's eye. You all got to go. And then once Babylon's gone, y'all going to be wondering who got next in power. We're going to tell you. Israel does. All right? And judgment is going to be executed. All right? And you're going to see. All right? For yourself. But before we can even get that far, Slakia, there's something we got to do. All right? Before we even get that far. Romans 11:4, it says, let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. All right. So we gotta enter into that rest by working, because we're doing the work right now. All right, doing the work. All right, doing the videos, being brotherly. All right, that's what it's about. All right, because the Lord loved the church, man. All right, He loved us. The kingdom of heaven is within us. It belongs to us. All right, it belongs to Israel. All right, so time's almost up for these heathens. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai.